Here we go. Hi, this is Steve Hodgson from Modern Asset Management. It's November 27th, 2019. Happy Thanksgiving. It's tomorrow. Um, Tonight I'm going to talk about buying mortgages through the secondary market, or I guess the tertiary market is more like what we are in. I'm going to turn my camera on for a minute. There I am. I'm going to stop my share. So we can talk just for a second. Let's see. And so here we go. Couple things that I wanted to just quick add before I go into one of the things that I have up on my screen to talk about. The tool that I use, although we do an awful lot of Excel work, that I always start with is my cell phone that has this app on it. It's a HP 10B2 calculator. The version I bought is from a company called In a Day Development. It was $7 instead of $100 for my old one. And they've got all kinds of training videos on how to do that. The book that oriented me the most toward this is a book from the 80s called Invest in Debt by a man named Jimmy Napier. And these are out of print, and if you come across one or you can borrow one from somebody, you should do that. It's a good read, primarily about seller finance, and it migrated me to buying discounted seller finance notes. But in order to use the 10B calculator, I had to go out and do a bunch of training, and this is one of the things that I did. This is from a man named Gary Johnston, JOHNSTON, GaryJohnston.com. He runs several big real estate training meetings in Las Vegas, Santa Ana, Atlanta, Denver. Come to really respect what he does. So that's unsolicited, unpaid advertising for a couple of things that help get me oriented. For those of you that are listening to this on YouTube that are new, buying mortgage notes in the secondary market, and I'm going to start with getting me out of the way. I'm going to turn off the video so we can just work on. Let's see. We'll start with maybe Excel. Let's see. Oh, I have to open up the right file. Hang on. Okay, so I'll start at the beginning, I guess. Let's do a screen share here. This is the original file that I bought. I'm going to assume that we can see this. I'm going to assume that we can't see it at this little tiny font. So, put some things out of the way. So I engaged a debt broker named Dion DePauli to help me buy a pool of mortgage notes. And I wanted to buy first position performing mortgages, but I was greedy, so I wanted high interest loans. And he introduced me to a fund that had about 150 loans for sale, and I was allowed to go through and cherry pick. And we wound up buying 26 of them. And just since we have it here, that was what my buy rate was. It was 79.5%. if I could just ask, Jim, since you're here, could you just chat me that you can see the screen before I go wandering on too much? So, but anyway, so we looked at, we got a file of accounts. We went through and I'm going to go through some of the diligence that we did to select them. And so they've been around for a while. We bought this file in July 2016, so that's 3.5 years ago, and we've been happy with the performance of this file going as we've been working through it. So what did we have? We came in with a broker price opinion. We came in with an unpaid principal balance. We had a buy rate. We had a buy rate to them. We had boarding fees at Security National. We had an IPP, which was my all-in cost, including fees to the company at the time was called SDXS. And we then did a calculation of the internal purchase price to the unpaid principal balance. And we found what our margin was, the status, and then we did a calculation of gross yield if the account ran to term. We looked at some other numbers. We looked at a target for what if we traded these out. And this first line here, well, we'd make $1,300. Because I thought maybe I would broker some of these, and I decided not to. I decided to hold them all. So we had a internal rate of return after costs, nearly 9, with some delinquency and additional interest. The yield, my monthly payments more like 11% now. This file started out, was pretty big for a small debt buyer, and there's still about half of the file is left. I think it's 14 accounts. A couple are in foreclosure. Most are paying. We've sold some of them refinanced out. Some of them sold their homes, and so that's where we are. Do I care about the current debt service? Only to show you that we did some homework, and we looked to make sure that we were in fact going to get paid, because on the basis that they were paying, we looked at some delinquency. I didn't mind the delinquency on these accounts because they were paying monthly. They were in arrears, and the arrearage was not the unpaid additional interest was not part of the purchase price. That was an extra bonus to us if in fact they did pay it. We wound up putting together a final bid, and this is the way this works. You make it's called an indicative bid. You get a chance to do homework and due diligence and we're going to go look at that diligence in a moment. And you present your bids, whether it be 1, 2, 10, however many accounts you're looking to buy, and they will come back and counter. They will, whatever, depending on who you're buying from. We were well down the line, a month into diligence. We do some of these borrowers intimately. So I'm going to go leave that screen, and I'm going to open another Excel sheet. Actually, let's go do the diligence piece. So let me go to, all right, I'm going to put me away again. All right, bye. And I picked 2 to look at. I figured I'd start with, let's start with the folder. Let's start with, what do we have? We have 130 Spencer and 1215 Rural Dempsey. All right, we're in Rural Dempsey. Like I said, these loans were written in 2000. They were mostly loan modifications written in 2012. Borrowers have been in these homes now more than 20 years. And what they did is this company bought them at a deep discount in the collapse in 2010 and 11. They went out and rewrote them at basically half of their loan balance when they were purchased, but they put them into shorter term, high interest loans. They put them typically into a 15-year, 10 or 11% mortgage. And I liked the 11% number. Made it easy to see how that was going to cash flow. And so we went ahead and bought them. But in there were some things that are called contracts for deed, where the property had been foreclosed and then resold to the owner and residents on basically a lease to own. And there are a couple of those in this portfolio. They don't behave any differently than Jim. Oh, Jim, thanks for telling me you can see it. They don't perform any differently than a traditional mortgage. It just has to do more with where the state. This one that we're looking at is on an address called 1215 Rural Dempsey in Louisville. And so we're going to go take a look at some of the stuff that you should expect to see when you're buying one of these accounts. You should be given a full collateral package that has everything that you're going to get in the paper file when you take possession of the note. So you need to make sure that you always get the original note and the original mortgage, or in this case, it's a contract for deed or a land contract, it's also called. And while that's really important to have, that's like having the actual hard dollars. The most important thing is what's recorded at the county. So that's one of the places you'll go look up these records in the county to make sure that you're in the right position that you think you're in. So I'll start by opening the collateral file. And what we had in this collateral file is there's a second note, the original note, a prepayment rider, rate modification, the quitclaim deed where he gave it back in the foreclosure and then bought it back. And this was a DIL, a deed in lieu. It was originally an adjustable rate mortgage. They put him into a fixed mortgage. I think this one was 11. You have an agreement to deed, the agreement for deed. You have executed copies, and then there's a folder where there's the assignment and allonges as it went through various hands, including the hands finally that went to us. So this fund owned notes, and this master fund owned notes in different smaller funds with different investors. So keeping track of what was where was, we had to pay attention to that. Just for openers, we'll look at the agreement for deed. And it's what it is. It's a So the original grantee was Stewardship Fund, which is Sandor Lau, who's one of the active people in the marketplace. Comes in with a new amount of $44,000. We get some of this, we get some of that. Most importantly, we get filed and stamped, and where it was held. Come back and we've got proper signatures. We have apparently we need to do some certification in that state, and so that's what that looks like. I'll back up a little bit, and I'm going to open the property folder. We made an effort to make sure that we were buying the right thing. We got a broker price opinion, which is $100 drive-by by a real estate agent. And while that suffices. I sometimes think that $400 for an appraisal would be a better thing, but you can't do that on every $10,000 or $20,000 mortgage you're buying. But we did get a property inspection fairly recently from when it was done. So this was done. Let's see, looking here, this was done in beginning of 2016, so 6 months before we bought it. Let's see, we got a vinyl 1-star, 1-star. We got a car in the driveway. No exterior broken glass. Grass is mowed. You get in trouble with not mowing grass in a lot of places these days. You get a nice healthy fine in some places. So this is what we knew going in. Again, it addresses rural Dempsey Road, so that gives you an idea that it's not going to be in the middle of downtown Manhattan. And we got some pictures. Looking at it from there, the property wasn't covered in junk. That's okay. Got a broker price opinion. Again, something else to be wary of is what kind of opinion. And this one right here says fair market price. And this is I guess we have to remember that we are retail buyers in a wholesale marketplace. We're buying one-offs, 5, a couple, and we're going to get a pricing opinion that is going to be as high as the seller can make it. There's many people out there trying to buy mortgages, and because the barrier to entry is low, $20,000, you can build a cash flow stream right from day one. But they will overstate the BPOs. So the valuation I look for now is a quick sale, a distressed sale price, because the only time I'm going to sell a property is if it goes into foreclosure. And by definition there, it's a distressed property and it's not going to be pretty. Almost all of the foreclosures I've done, the property looks like the payments on the mortgage. If the payments have been really bad, the property's going to be really bad. I've got one though that we just got back that it's immaculate and ready for sale right now. Trouble is, it's in Michigan, and there's a 1-year right of redemption, so I can't sell it. So anyway, so it's a drive-by, a couple of pictures, some comps, sales in the neighborhood, 70 to 90. It's the basic kinds of things that you see. Here's some comps where they gave, then they do a little plus or minus. With my page will fill. Some solds. Marketing strategy. As is, 89,000, repaired price 89,000, 85. Okay, so I said, cool. What we didn't go back to is how much what that note was. I was too fast for that. I bought about $40,000 worth of, I bought about 50% loan to value is what I was buying across the board. It was 2016. I was still smarting from the damage that was done to me and the rest of the planet in 2008, 9, 10. And I was looking for really safe. So I thought half LTV of a note that was half of the original defaulted mortgage, so it's half of a half, was a fairly safe position, and it's turned out to be. So I paid up to get that. So would I do that again? I don't know, maybe not. In fact, I probably would start with defaulted seconds again when I go back to my collection experience. There should be a servicing folder. So in here, there's apparently a dispute letter, a forced placed insurance letter, and in February, there was a request for a payoff statement. there'll be so if there may be files of collection notes, there may be other things to see that would be helpful. What else do we have in here? If there was a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, we would have set it up in there. This was this hierarchy, these files in Dropbox were set up with the intent of growing a substantial portfolio. And we as we got started in this, we suddenly got pulled back into unsecured lending and collection, which is where I had spent my whole business career. And so the mortgages never got off the ground. We wound up buying or creating, I think, 36 loans. We still owned half of that, probably exactly half of that, 18 or 20. But we primarily now do other kinds of financing. So that was that one. What's the property today? What do we have? We have a Zillow estimate of $80,000. Knock 20% off of that. And at 70, the note, we'll see in a second, the note's probably paid down to 30 or close to 30. So it's safe. We'll close this. This is not my cup of tea. I'm a city kid, and I don't understand people living in the country. But I believe this person has not missed a payment. We'll go look at that in a minute. There's not much around, and what I don't like about that is comps are hard and there's very little marketplace. So if I'm going to buy these notes now, I'm going to look for suburban, where there's like houses that are easy to comp. I'm going to look for areas that might have some kind of story that things are getting better. I'm not going to buy anything in major markets. I would buy in tertiary markets, secondary MSAs, places where things are near things that are up and coming, because just the prices where all the action is are just out of reach for us. I live in Northern California, and I couldn't possibly do this in this neighborhood I live in, where we've been a long time. We wouldn't buy our way into this house again. This house it's a $500,000 house that you can buy for $800,000, and that's just, frankly, that ain't ever going to happen. So anyway, but will I buy $100,000 houses? Yes, absolutely. And so that means I have to go to secondary cities in Florida, Arizona, Utah. Maybe there's some stuff in Reno, but probably Las Vegas is there's a lot too up and down for me. So that was that. I'm gonna do a new share, and I have to go find the Excel sheet that I want to open. I want to show you. When you go shopping for a file, you're going to get a due diligence tape. What I did here is I downloaded the due diligence tape from Security National Servicing Company, which is where my loans are serviced, and I selected the payers that fit this discussion, and we were just looking at line 17 here, and we'll go over. So these are all the things you get. You get the address of the property, the mailing address, what type of unit it is it owner occupied, do they know, the original appraisal value. Does a contract call for a late charge? This one doesn't. That's weird. I doubt that's correct. Because it says over here, late charge maximum 5, which means 5%. MERS is the mortgage network, and all properties have a MERS number, unless they're small balance seller finance that you haven't registered. You get most recent notice date, or the last time he was sent he was sent a notice because he was late on his taxes. last payment received November 18th. Estimated payoff $32,803. So this was probably a $40,000 note when I bought it. You get if there was a foreclosure sale date, and there was in October 2016. If there's so here, this one, the redemption period is expiring, is up here. That means that I can start enforcing collection and take the property back and post it for sale. This is really important. On all of these accounts, there'll be what's called a string, and the string will tell you the P here is the first month, the most recent month, today, and then it goes back today, so November, October, September, August, running back like that. If it's a zero a zero, it means it's paid on time. If it's a one, it's one payment past due, two payment past due. So this gentleman had been running two payments past due, getting charged, I don't know, probably a $50 late fee every month. And then you get to see what the actual payments are. And this is cash last, so that would be October, September, August, July, going back like this. And so I found this to be indicative of the value of the portfolio, because you can look and see holes, and then how quickly they catch up, what kind of problems that they have. Make an assumption that all of these small balance loans come with an owner who at some time in your owning the note was going to sing a country western song. These are folks that in the main are not savers. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they're on some sort of government social security or other kind of assistance, and they don't have anything to fall back on. That said, we did do a program where we offered a discount for payoffs. We, took a little bit off, and some people went out and did that. So what I do like about these notes is the short term. They were 15 years or less, so I bought them with max 13 years to run, 12 years to run. So these people were paying down principal pretty seriously. So they were creating equity, and frankly, these people here, these 7 people here, are going to own their homes outright before I own my home outright. But anyway, last 20, 30, long payment string. So you can see there's holes. You can see there's holes. So here, he got into so he got into paying 700, 500, 500, 500, 500, 500, 1,000, and then he's running a little bit behind, but he's paying every month. You can see on the line above, this person basically pays quarterly. That's maddening, right? Because I'm getting charged servicing costs based on that. The more delinquent an account is, the higher the cost of the servicer. I'm at, I would think, is the most expensive servicer, and I don't have a recommendation for them. I don't know that they're any different than folks at Allied or Madison or any of the other places. I find them to be diligent, hardworking, excellent collection, fantastic bankruptcy department. I guess that's the big thing that I have with them. So anyway, so that's what a data tape looks like, and so it's all the possible things that could be in a mortgage note, and you'll go through and pick out the things that are important to you. For me, I need to recalculate the balance with my handy dandy calculator and make sure that we're talking about the right month for the right value. I don't want to be short a monthly payment because I didn't understand the dates. So these are the current balances of those loans, and these are the monthly P&I. So if you go and plug that into your calculator, I suppose I could do that. Let's try this. 32,000, 266, 56. And he's paying P&I, $425 a month. You saw the payments were $500 a month because he's paying impounds for taxes and insurance. And so what do I need? I need the interest rate. The interest rate was 11. And so I've plugged in 11 for interest, 32,000 for principal, present value, a payment of 425, and he has 130 months left on this loan. So it's what's that? 11 years. So you can buy $500 a month by buying a mortgage that's $32,000 a year, and say you paid $30,000 for that. I'm going to knock off $15 a month for servicing, and so the 425 payment, I'll say that you actually get 410, and plugging that in the calculator, your return would be nearly 12%. It's makes sense, but of course it has its downsides. So anyway, here's the tape. That's what you'll generally see. You'll get a link to a folder like Dropbox, where you'll see all of the materials on hand. It's important that you understand what's in those folders. You have to make sure that you're buying a note that is actually secured, because I bought a note that wasn't secured. I'm presented with a delinquent note from Condor. It's in Alexandria, Louisiana. The borrower has the house on the market for $80,000, and I buy the delinquent note for 46, I think. UPB and unpaid interest put it closer to 70. So they had it on the market for 70. I bought for 46. I might have a $25,000 upside. My greed alarm goes off. Boom! Buy this loan. Turns out there was a death. The owner passed away. There were some shenanigans done in the Louisiana courts, and they were able to clear title. So the lien was released. So I no longer had security. I was now an unsecured creditor. I had to, in order to start to work that back, I had to sue all the heirs because they were all complicit in this fraud. I had to go back to the basically the Louisiana version of probate, file a petition that said they lied. Here's the proof of mortgage. Got that vacated, but the property was already, the title was already removed. There were other properties that were owned by those individuals, and we're now in the process of seizing 4 pieces of property, putting them up for auction, and hope that now I collect my $46,000 cash out of pocket, and that mythical, magical $25,000 that I thought I was going to collect 2 years ago. I can't wait for that insurance bill. So just a quick look at the other one that I wanted to show you was making my point about buying in neighborhoods. This is a little note in Indianapolis. Got a couple of things in Gary that I like, and actually I'm really thinking about doing some stuff at some scale in Gary. I think Gary's hit the bottom, and there's enough government assistance coming in there that I think there's potential. But anyway, I digress, as I always do. So here you are, you're in a neighborhood. You can see lots of places that are the same. You can pretty easily know what it is you got. Right? So we're 130 South Spencer. You got 87 on one side, 137, 77, 160. So you can see the difference between a dilapidated foreclosure and a house that's kept up. It's half the value, right? So again, I always assume now that the property is not going to be in great shape. So even though it had a Zillow estimate of 135, I call it 90 just to be safe. So if this was worth 90, what would I be interested in? Property may have an asset value of 90. Let's say it's got an asset value of 75. Current balance owing today is $33,000. Payment of $365 a month. It's going to be a little longer term to run. So if I put that in, 33, 254. Let's go make sure I've got the interest rate right. And again, get used to using a calculator. Maybe I went too far. Let's go here. Okay, now she's 7.75. She's a deal. And I said, what did we say her payment was? Her payment was 365.37. 365.37 into the calculator. Come up with 138 payments. So that loan will pay over that period of time another $17,000 in interest for a total return, gross return of 50, less your expenses and cost of the loan. So what would you have to, if you were chasing, would I discount this loan to sell it? Probably not very much, because again, she's been there forever. Well, let's go quick look and see what her payment stream is like. So we're going to stay here on line 10. Maybe I'll make this a little bigger. Yeah, so she's going to pay off in 2034. I might still be alive then. I think I will. I'm only 63. I do go to the gym once in a while. And the idea of $365 coming in without any effort might appeal to me someday. Go on. Here we go. All right, she's the middle green line. She is a machine, right? Oh, there was a blip here. There was a blank, and then she was right there. Betcha one payment's posted on the 1st and the other payment's posted on the 30th. So she skips a month once in a while. Oh, back when we got her, there was a problem. And I probably knew a story about that then, like the money was in hand and it just hadn't been posted yet. Matter of fact, I know there were a couple that were just like that. They had money sitting in unapplied. They hadn't sorted out the late fees and the foreclosure, withdrawing the foreclosure action, the notice of default, and all that. But anyway, so she's been good as gold for 2 years. If you were looking for a 9% return, you'd make an offer on that loan of $31,300. So for $31,000, you're going to get 9% for more than 11 years on a piece of property that is likely the loan's 1/3 of the value of the property. The only thing you got to worry about then is her selling the house. So these are I picked these out of the list because they were vanilla. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff. Here's one where this $4,700 balance. She made a couple of big payments. I thought she was trying to pay off. She just had a windfall and dropped a couple of $10,000 payments on it. But anyway, she's getting down to the very end now. So if you were gonna buy a pool, this would be an example of a pool. And $169,000 with a gross cash flow of $3,000 a month. You know, I think that works. I think that works. Uh, let's see if there's something else I wanted to share. No, I probably don't have anything else I want to share. It's- I'm actually going to stay on topic. So back to our fancy wrap up with our fancy PowerPoint screen that I made. Um, I appreciate Jim's time and attention. I'm going to sign off and ask Jim just not to go away just for a second, just so I can say hello. But anyway, so it's Steve Hodgson, Modern Asset Management. There's a YouTube channel you find under my name, Steve Hodgson, which is how I guess most of you have found me. I post once a month, typically about what we're going on. I post about the things that have gone wrong because I don't hear any of the gurus or people in the classes talking much about when things blow up. And I seem to blow things up from time to time. And if I can help you avoid the mistakes that I've made, then this is a team sport, and we're all winning then. So I want to say thanks, and like I said, I'm going to turn off the recording, and supposed to do another one of these in December. Might not. So, so anyway, thanks. All right.